Welcome to The Real with Joseph Labman. I am Joseph Labman. Thank you for tuning in this episode of The Real, taking time out of your day to come watch this episode. I really appreciate that. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe for me. I'd really appreciate that as well. That's the best way you can support this channel and help me grow my content and grow this channel to where I'd like it to be. Everybody hit the like button for me on the way in on this video today. That also helps promote this video more in the algorithms, helps grow this channel more as well. Please share this content. I would really appreciate that. My guests would as well. If you would please share this episode with someone you know that maybe is interested in the topic we're talking about today. Please leave a comment below as well. We'd love to hear your guys' feedback. You can interact with myself and the guest on the panel and the live chat as well. Whatever we're talking about, just leave a comment there in the live chat. Pop in and say hello. We'll put it on the screen for you. And yeah, without further ado, let's get to the show. Welcome back to The Real with Joseph Labman. I am Joseph Labman. Like I said, if you're new here, please hit the like button on the way in, and everybody hit the subscribe button. It's free. I need you guys' help. All right, you need to hit the subscribe button. It's just a tap of a button. It's free. I may never see you again, but just at least subscribe for your boy. It really helps us grow. We need that. We need the subscription. So please just hit subscribe. It's free. So really appreciate that. But welcome into The Real. Hope you guys are having a good Sunday night. Let's get into it tonight. It's gonna be a good one. Interesting week coming up for the Browns. A big week coming up for the Browns because I think this week could really determine what they do in the draft, possibly, and that is who will be the QB1 for the Cleveland Browns next season. And there's a bunch of names right now. Sorry about that. Bunch of names right now, and the three main ones I think it's trickled down to is Russell Wilson, who visited with the team this week. I believe it was Thursday night. He met with the team. Myles Garrett was in attendance at the meeting and spoke to Russell for a little bit about the reports from Mary Kay and others. The meeting went really well. They got to really know each other. Russell Wilson is also, in contention for the Giants gig as well, and possibly still in play for Pittsburgh. Although I don't think Pittsburgh may be as in play because they didn't bring him back and they're trying to get Aaron Rodgers. So Russell Wilson's name number one. Name number two, familiar name for you guys, Joe Flacco. You guys wacko for Flacco again? Joe Flacco, from the report from Mary Kay today, that said that they're mild. The interest in Joe Flacco right now is very mild. But also we know that the history with Joe Flacco, his history with this team from 2 years ago, the continuity he already has in the building. Could it be Joe Flacco? The Steelers are also interested in Joe Flacco, and I believe the Giants were as well. There's another third team out there. There's three teams, Browns, Steelers, and one more team that are all interested in Joe Flacco. And so... And then my third one I put out there, and this is kind of a wild card, but not really, goes to the draft. Because it's, by all accounts, it sounds Cam Ward will be the number one pick, either by the Titans or another team. He's going number one. So that leaves us with Shedeur Sanders, who's been really connected to the Browns a lot. Could Shedeur Sanders be the QB1 for the Browns week one next season? And so could it be somebody else? I mean, those are the three names I came up with. Those are the three names I think are the three heavy favorites right now to be QB1 if I had to make a bet. Because like I said, I don't think, unless we trade up to number one to get Cam Ward, which I don't see right now, but I'm going to say right now, Russell Wilson, Joe Flacco, and Shedeur Sanders. Those will be my three. Now, it's all dependent on what Aaron Rodgers does with the two vets, Wilson and Flacco, because Aaron Rodgers right now is holding up the market. The latest report today was that he wants to go to the Vikings. I think the Vikings are the favorite to get Aaron Rodgers, and so I think we could be in a bidding war with the Giants, possibly for Russell Wilson. That's who we want. So it's gonna be interesting to see. I think once that domino falls, then one of these guys will come to the Browns, possibly, unless the Browns maybe don't. But I think the Browns are going to get a veteran quarterback still, and still draft one in the draft. Now, if they get a Russell Wilson, I think it could be less likely they take Shedeur too and more Travis Hunter. If they take Joe Flacco, I think Joe Flacco possibly opens the door that they could take Shedeur too. So that's where I'm at with it. I think once this Aaron Rodgers domino falls, what happens with Russell Wilson is the first thing I'm looking at. I thought Kirk Cousins might have been in play last weekend. It seemed like that could have been a done deal if he was released, but he didn't get released, and I don't think the Browns are going to trade for him because they're not going to give a king's ransom for him. And so I think right now, it all depends what happens with Russell Wilson. If Russell Wilson comes to the Browns, he's probably your week one starter, and I also think you're taking Travis Hunter too. if Russell Wilson goes to the Giants, and you'll say you have to settle with Joe Flacco, I think it increases the chances you take Shedeur number 2. And so it's going to be fascinating, really fascinating, but all centered around 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers. Wherever the Aaron Rodgers domino falls, everything else will fall behind it. So if Aaron Rodgers goes to Minnesota, there's going to be competition with us for Russell Wilson, probably with the Giants. If Aaron Rodgers goes to the Giants, we're probably getting Russell Wilson. Because I do think the Browns, it seems though by all accounts, that's who they want. But they have plan B and C as well. So fascinating. Let's get into some of these comments here. Like, subscribe, and share. Shout out to my grandma in the chat. She said, "You are so cute, Mr. Hanson." Shout out to my grandma. Love you, grandma. But fascinating stuff, though. Fascinating. And it's going to be a really interesting week. I think this week's a big week for the Browns and what they do. And who the quarterback will be next season. But all starts with Mr. Rodgers first, who won't even be a Cleveland Brown. But once that domino falls, and the reports today from Mike, I think it was Mike Silver, Diana Rossini, and a couple other people. I think maybe Jeremy Fowler as well. It seems like Aaron Rodgers is his number one destination is the Minnesota Vikings. It's all about if the Vikings want him. And so, who do you guys want though as QB1? So I see my boy DB in the chat. Joe, I'm gonna send you the thing if you want it. But number one show in the nation. I appreciate that. We're trying to get there. I appreciate it, Bo. I appreciate it. But who do you guys want as QB1? That's what I want to know. Who do you guys want as QB1? I'm going to give my take here in a little bit, but I want to hear from my guest first. And so joining me now, you guys know this man. He's a legend. The one, the only professional Mike. Mike's in.
Hello, beautiful people. I'm here with professional Molly as well, who's joining me on camera. And
shaking his head in the back. I had to get him up. Shaking his head in the back is the one, the only, the most honest Jersey.
Howdy.
Look at the camera.
But gentlemen, thanks for coming back on tonight. Professional Mike, I'll start with you.
Yes.
Out of the 3 names, or maybe somebody else, who do you want? We'll start there. Who do you want first as QB1 of the Cleveland Browns week 1? Russell Wilson, Joe Flacco, or Shedeur Sanders?
So I'm going to give kind of a 2-parter because I want Shedeur Sanders. I want them to draft Shedeur Sanders at this point, at some point, because there's a lot of reports that are kind of shaken out that people might think that Shedeur might start to fall a little bit because people thought, maybe the Giants, maybe the Raiders, but it looks like they have little to no interest. So really the Browns have had a lot of talks with him and have had a lot of interest. So maybe we pick him later, but I wouldn't want him starting week 1. Between the 3, if I had to pick one, I think it needs to get. I mean, I would love Danger Russ in Cleveland. I mean, he was okay with Pittsburgh. I think as a bridge guy, I mean, you can do a whole hell of a lot worse. Super Bowl, Super Bowl winner, Super Bowl champion, has had MVP votes. Maybe you could correct me if I'm wrong. Did he win MVP one year?
Let me look. I think.
I thought there was one year he might have came in second in voting, like maybe four-ish years ago.
Russell Wilson has not received any MVP votes.
Really? I thought he received some. He received second in voting, for one of his last years in Seattle.
No, it says he's never had a single vote in his entire career.
A single vote, damn. Well, even still, I think as a bridge quarterback, he would be probably your best option. I mean, Flacco, you do have some familiarity there. As long as Russ is just I think Russ maybe is a little bit more comfortable with where he is now. The Denver stuff, he still thought he was old school Russ. Then he signed the vet minimum in Pittsburgh, and now he's flirting with being a bridge guy for a year in either Cleveland or New York. So I think the version of Russ we'd get is a little bit better. You know, a guy who understands, like, okay, I'm in the mentor part of my career now. He's like, you know, I'm in the bridge quarterback of my career now. Like, that's where I'm at. He's not going to be trying to do crazy shit. He's going to be listening to the coaches. I think he understands his present time limitations, which he did not understand when he was in Denver. Granted, Denver was also a shit show. Nathaniel Hackett never should have been hired. But between the three, I'm taking Russell Wilson. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is the best option, but he's also expensive, and he's also, you know,
probably gonna be a Viking.
Yeah. Oh, he's got to complete the prophecy.
Right. Yeah. So you said earlier, Dave, Jersey's gonna follow in Favre's footsteps.
Complete the prophecy. And now all Jordan Love has to do is win one Super Bowl, look great the rest of his career, but never get there again, and then get traded to the Jets for a lot of picks and do nothing there and almost get to the Super Bowl with the Vikings and fail. He's got to complete the prophecy. But yeah, no, I don't think Aaron Rodgers. I don't even know if I'd want Aaron Rodgers here, honestly. Like, he's a great player, but you'd have to sign him to like a 2-year, $30 million a year deal. You already have a quarterback who can't do anything on an expensive deal. So the Browns are out on that to begin with. And also, if you plan on drafting a young QB, I'm like Aaron, at least recently, at least from the Jets stuff. Now, take it with a grain of salt, because I know that the whole front office was weird there, but he rubbed a lot of his teammates the wrong way. Like, Garrett Wilson was ready to like get the hell out of there because of Aaron Rodgers. Mm-hmm. Like, so I don't know if I want that in an already kind of fiery locker room. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it wasn't great there. And I think Salah didn't really
that didn't help.
Get the buy-in from people either. But Jersey, who do you like? If you had to pick between the three, do you have another name maybe you want to throw out there? Russell Wilson, Joe Flacco, or Shedeur Sanders? Who do you like to see week one?
Well, I want Travis Hunter with that pick, so that eliminates Shedeur Sanders. I'd probably say Flacco. I think even an age Flacco, I think I'd rather run with him than Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson, man, he just looked so terrible that last game of the Steelers. I mean, he just looked like shit. I mean, and I know Flacco looked like shit in that last game against the Texans, but I still think an age Flacco, you know, just the conventional NFL quarterback that can hang in the pocket, could throw the ball anywhere in the field, can throw players open. I think I'd still rather go that route. He's familiar. This is what I saw with Wilson. I like Wilson, but man, what I saw was we were watching it together. It was bad all the way around. It was just terrible. So if I had to pick one, I think I'd pick Flacco.
Granted,
go ahead, Mike.
Flacco, he looked okay in Pittsburgh, and he had an okay season with Pittsburgh. But Flacco, when he had to start in place of Anthony Richardson for the Colts in a very similar offense to what Stefanski runs, he looked awful. Like, Flacco did not have a good year last year at all. There was one sequence where he threw legitimately 4 interceptions in a row. And he knew he was starting. He had practiced the whole week. So, like, I know, like, he had his little Linsanity run with us in 23. Like, I get that. And, like, I'm forever grateful for that. It was a great season. It was fun to watch. But I might be out on Sir Vincent Flacco. Sergio Vincent Flacco. Just because recency bias, I get it, but like, he looked bad in Indy. Like, he looked really, really bad. Like, cooked.
Yeah,
bad.
He wasn't great. He threw for 1,700 yards, 65% completion percentage. Only 7 yards an average to throw. Usually want to be about 10 or more. And he's only 7, so he's kind of dinking and dunking. He got sacked 18 times in the limited games he played in. 12 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Yeah, I don't know. Joe Flacco would have been the easy answer because of the continuity for me, and I still think he could still play. Obviously,
Oh,
he's
yeah.
shown that he could still play. Um, it's funny because last year when they signed Russell Wilson, we were up here kind of like Russell Wilson. And Russell Wilson hasn't had the best vibe with locker rooms either in his career. So, like Aaron Rodgers. So, but one thing about Russell Wilson though, I like he doesn't really turn the ball over a whole lot. When you look at his interception stat, he doesn't really turn the ball over at a high clip. Like I think last year he only had. First career, he's never really turned the ball over
I think he had
as
10,
much.
11 picks last year, didn't he?
Yeah, but he doesn't turn it over. He had 16 touchdowns, only 5 picks, 2,400
16,
yards, 63% completion percentage, only 7.4 yards an attempt for him as well. So and there was a lot of shorter passes in that offense. I think right now in their career, I probably would go with. I'd probably say Russell Wilson because I think Russell Wilson will at least help you win more games next year. I don't think Joe Flacco can muster up for an entire season what he did 2 years ago. You remember, people forget he joined here midseason. It was like we had him for the whole year. He joined here midseason, and then went on a run. So he didn't really. He just you didn't have to ask much of him really. So I would rather have Russell Wilson because I think Russell Wilson. We just saw him for completion of a season almost. I mean, I know Justin Fields played beginning of that season, but Russ played the bulk of the season. And I think Russ will not turn the ball over as much as Joe Flacco, and I think he can run the offense. I think Russell with a Tommy Reese, I think could do really well. I think Tommy Reese would like that style quarterback, and I think they have to win now. I think will they win now next year? That's we'll see. I know a lot of people think they'll still be shit next year, but I think this regime, and I think this to kind of get a better morale in that locker room and a better. The best way to win is then turn the culture around. The best way to turn a culture around and get some mojo back is just start winning games, or at least trying. At least be better than you were last year. So, at least be competitive. Last year they were not even that. No. So I think Russell Wilson could come in there, and Russell Wilson's already throwing with Jerry Jeudy down in Florida as we speak. So, I think Mary Kay wrote that in an article today too that he just began. Working out with Jerry Jeudy down in Florida. They're throwing routes together this week. So
is Jerry okay? Is he going to be okay?
Yeah. Yeah. So I know that it seemed like when they left Denver, there was maybe, I don't know, but Mary Kay's article today said they're thrown together down in Florida. So
I mean, all right.
It seems like to me too. They asked Myles Garrett the other day who he thought what QB1 was. Does he know who it is? And he said yes. And he said it'd be great if we can make it happen. Almost like if we can get him here. So and Myles was at the meeting when Russell was there. So I think Russell's the guy they want. I think if I had to pick between the three, I'd probably go with Russell. And I think that might end up being who it is. I don't think he'll pick the Giants over us. I really don't. I think he'll want to stay in the division that he's already been in for the last year, and I think the Browns are a better team are closer to winning now than the Giants, personally. Plus, if you take Travis Hunter too, I mean, it's another weapon for him. He's got chemistry building with Jerry Jeudy. Get the running game back. The O-line's healthy. That defense, when healthy, has shown they can be good. I think they'll add more to that in the draft, and they've already done it this week with guys like Malik Collins, who I think was a phenomenal signing in the interior, which they needed. So I think it'd be Russell Wilson. You guys, anything else you want to add to that?
I agree. I mean, I think it's Russ, but I also think that.
Well, here, if they sign Russ or if Joe Flacco, let's say they sign Russell Wilson, what are you still doing with the number 2 pick, Mike?
I'm still sold on Shedeur Sanders. I still think he's the best quarterback in the draft overall. But I mean, if they think they can get him later, like if they think he's going to fall a little bit, then pick Travis or Abdul. But if they have any inkling that someone's going to take him at any point, but before they get to like the point where you can trade up without giving up a lot of draft capital, like in the 20s, I'd still take Shedeur, but that's just me.
I would take Travis Hunter. I think he's the best player in this draft by far, and I think if you take him at wide receiver, he's your Justin Jefferson. Really, I think he'd be that good. So and plus, if you're getting Russell Wilson, I think you need to get him another weapon opposite of Jerry Jeudy. Try to still go get Brandon Ayuk as well. I like that Jeudy Ayuk Hunter combo. It's kind of similar to I thought if they would have got Kirk Cousins. Remember when Cousins was with Stefanski, Minnesota? At one point, they had Jefferson, Stephon Diggs, and Adam Thielen. Were they trying to make another trio here with Kirk, possibly with Stefanski? I don't know.
And
but I don't
Alvin
think
Cook in his prime, too. That was a crazy offense.
So I don't think we're going to get Kirk Cousins because I don't think they're going to trade for him. The Falcons won't release him. He would have been my first option. But I'll still take Russ, though, with Jeudy, Hunter, and an Ayuk possibly. I think you can cook with that. Get the running game going. I think you have to have a solid running game with Russell Wilson by far. You have to have that's the most important thing. You have to have a
Let's
good
just
line.
Avoid the cooking. Let's just avoid that word. If we sign Russell Wilson, let us avoid the word cook for the entirety of the 2025-2026 season. If Russ is our quarterback, I'm never going to say that word again. I will be making food. I will not be cooking. No one cooks anymore if Russ is our quarterback. I just want to avoid that word, get the bad vibes out.
No, we don't want to ride. No, let's ride, Cleveland.
We don't want to ride either. I don't want to ride. I don't want to cook. I don't want to be unlimited.
Yeah,
Mr. Unlimited.
Yeah, I agree.
He filmed himself saying that.
I don't want to see a Subway ad either.
I don't want to see a Subway ad.
That Subway ad was terrible. He sit there eating his own sandwich. That was terrible. What do you think, Drew? I know you already said it, Jersey. Why would you take Travis Hunter at 2 still?
Just because he's who he is. He's just a generational player. He's I don't know if I've ever seen anybody do what that guy's done, what he did in college. What do you have like 6 interceptions last year, over 1,000 yards receiving. He plays every game, plays every down. Obviously, he's not going to do that in the NFL, but he's elite at every position, at both positions. So, everyone knows what he is. So, I just think he's the for sure guy, and you can play him. Browns said they see him as a receiver, right?
Yeah. And he had 96 receptions, 1,258 yards, 15 touchdowns, 13.1 average.
And then what was his? I think he had like 6 picks.
Yeah. Well, I got to find the defensive stats. It only has his. Hold on 1 second. Let's see here. His team stats, defensive stats. He had, I'm sure he led the team in interceptions by far. Yeah, he had 4 interceptions.
Okay.
4 interceptions, 11 pass deflections, 1 forced fumble, 35 tackles, 24 solos, 11 assists. So, yeah.
Yeah, so,
they're not really throwing his way. So.
What's that?
They're not throwing his way.
No, and that guy's you just throw the ball to him. He's gonna. That guy. He can make any quarterback. He can make a quarterback. I guess a quarterback that's okay or a little above average. He can make him look really good with some of the. Especially some of those fade routes in the corner or some of the crazy shit that he does.
All the contested catches
that other receivers just can't do. Yeah. Only other guy I've seen do this shit was Jeremiah Smith. So, he just does some crazy ass things. So, and I love his energy, and I just think that's the guy you got to take.
Well, and he can run every single route too. There's no route he can't. He can run every route. He can run quick slants. He can run a post. He can run a dagger, a concept. You can do it. Put him there. He can run a comeback. He can run a fly route. He can run a mesh route. He can run a he can run everything. He can run a whip route. There's nothing he can't run.
He's a real, you see that term playmaker. That guy's a playmaker.
Yeah, you just get the ball in his hands and let him go.
Yeah.
Or if you need to stop at the end of the game, he'll make a play.
Have him return punts, anything. I mean, he's just going to excel at it.
Yeah, and my argument too between him and Abdul Carter to me is just a Jermaine Johnson, which is great. I think Jermaine Johnson's been really good in the NFL, but when I watched the tape in college between the both of them, I think a lot of Abdul is because he wears number 11 at Penn State. I get it. It's a tradition. And he was a pretty good player at Penn State, but I don't think he was as dominant as Micah Parsons' dad. You saw Micah Parsons in college like I did. I don't think he's as good as Micah Parsons was. He's not a Myles Garrett. He's not even, I don't think he was as good as Aiden Hutchinson was in college. Not saying he's bad. I'm not knocking the kid. I just think when you watch the tape, he's Jermaine Johnson. I think the lady have the same stats or the same size, weight, everything. So what Jermaine Johnson was at Florida State, who's been a great player with the Jets. So when I watch Travis Hunter, though, people would say, why would you take a receiver? If you see him a receiver, you take a receiver at number 2. Well, depends what kind of receiver. To me, he's a Justin Jefferson kind of guy. I think he can be that good of a receiver. So would I rather have Jermaine Johnson or would I rather have Justin Jefferson? I'd rather have Justin Jefferson. So that's the money. He's the better player. I mean, am I right? Would you say, Mike, Justin Jefferson over Jermaine Johnson?
But if you're going,
I think Abdul Carter's a little bit better than that personally, but
I think he's been a tad bit. I think Mason Graham's the guy that hasn't got enough.
No, I agree. I mean, I've said
I think Travis Hunter's been
if they don't pick
a
quarterback,
not evaluated properly by some in the media.
If they don't pick a quarterback, I'm happy with either Carter or Hunter. I think they're 1A, 1B. I don't think there's a 1 and a 2 between them. I think Abdul Carter, I mean, here I've tracked him and he's got the bend. He's got 2 moves that he uses really, really well. He's got a great first step. He's everything you want in a premier pass rusher. And if you put that on the other end of Myles Garrett, and I mean, that would be insane. On top of you would have security after this second Myles contract is up. And, Myles probably on the doorstep of retirement at that point. You still have a cornerstone of your defense. Now, I'd be happy with Travis Hunter. I think he's 1A between the two. It's just a matter of what the Browns value, what they think. But yeah, no, I think if you value Travis as a receiver, I think it makes a little bit more sense than a corner. And like Jersey said, he's not gonna do that in the NFL. If he does, it'll probably be in really special packages, like dime packages. They might throw him out there first, a couple stamps, what have you. But I don't foresee him doing that in the NFL, especially when he, in the collegiate level, he got a bunch of injuries, doing that.
Well, I mean, both guys have injury. One guy just got injured at the combine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was injured at
and he has some
in the playoffs
too when he was in college.
Well, every player, you name me a college player that doesn't get injured.
No, I get it.
Well, I think that
I don't know if you could say Travis Hunter got injured because he plays both sides of the ball. I mean,
well, with Travis,
it definitely raises your odds. I think
Travis.
I agree.
Travis never had any off the field, which nobody's brought this up. I don't think not that it matters. I don't have to judge anyone, but Travis never had any off the field stuff. Abdul Carter had a little off the field stuff in college that people I think haven't brought up, but I'm just saying maybe it's worth noting if you're trying to really nitpick. But Travis is clean as a whistle. So, and then if you put Travis at corner, he could be the best corner in the NFL one day if he wanted to. Go ahead.
No, I agree with that. I would value him higher at corner, in my opinion. I think he would make a better corner in the NFL.
He just went Travis. I think Abdul Carter gets you stops, can help you get stops. Travis Hunter can win you games.
Right.
That's the difference I see in the two.
And I mean, and if you're going against a particular team where you got a mismatch as far as in your secondary, and you can add this guy in, have this guy play several snaps a game, along with playing receiver. I mean, that's like having another man on your roster. You know what I mean? It's like having 54 guys on your roster. So, and two of them are elite. So, I would be mad if they don't take him. I'm sure Abdul Carter will be productive. But I would be mad if they didn't take Travis Hunter. I just can't imagine. I'm a GM and I'm making this pick and this guy is just sitting there, and I don't take you know what I mean? Because
and there's a reason why every former player and coach is saying the same thing in the media.
I can't replicate this guy.
Right.
I could possibly replicate a defensive end later in the draft. You know what I mean? I can't replicate this cat. I got 2 players in one if I want, and he's willing.
And it's something you had never had out there.
And he's a playmaker, and he can win. He will win you games. I take that guy at 2. I'm going to be upset if the Browns don't take that guy at 2. It'd just be another. If I'll put it to you this way: if Andrew Berry doesn't take this guy at 2, they gotta throw him down the stairs or something.
Okay, allegedly. Now, you mean like throw his stuff down the stairs and fire him? Is what you're saying?
Yeah. I mean, of all the nitpicking and the bitching people have done about his drafting, and some of the drafting's okay, some were bad, but you have this guy sitting there. You have got to take this guy. You got to take him. He's absolutely for sure. So,
well, I want to see what this other fan has to say. The delusional fan, according to Josh Morosco. Joe, you there?
Hey, yeah, I'm here. What's going on?
What's up? What's up? Appreciate you coming back on, Joey. I'm curious. You've heard our conversation a little bit. We'll start here with we'll go back to the original question. Right now, it seems like Russell Wilson, Flacco, and Shedeur are the 3 guys in the play for QB1, either through the draft or for agency. Maybe get Shedeur and one of these guys. But who do you want to see as the QB1 week 1?
Man, out of those 3 guys, or
or you could throw another name. I mean, Kirk Cousins seems to be off the table.
Yeah, I mean, there's just not much out there. If I have to pick one of the 3, I would say Flacco, just because he's a veteran, he has experience. He did okay in the regular season with us, and coming off the couch. If you give him a full off season, maybe he'll be a good bridge quarterback. But I think you still got to take a rookie quarterback. You could take Shedeur and Flacco. I think you can sign Flacco and then develop Shedeur. I'm not crazy about Russell Wilson. I'd prefer to stay away from him.
So you'd rather go Flacco, you said?
Yeah, I mean, if we have an option, Aaron Rodgers, I'd prefer him over Flacco, but it doesn't seem like Rodgers is in play. And as you're saying, Kirk Cousins, I'm not up to date on what's the deal with him, but you're saying it sounds like he's staying with Atlanta possibly, or I'm not sure.
Yeah, Mike, what's all this stuff, Mike? They won't let him lose.
I don't know if they're just trying to play hardball because he's due like $15 million guaranteed, and they already paid it to him. Past this Saturday, they would have had to have released or traded him. I don't know what they're doing. Honestly, their GM's being a little weird because they're like, oh, we'll just pay him for a backup, and it's like Kirk is already in his camp has already said that if he's not starting, he has no interest in staying or showing up, and then they messed it all up because they paid him all that money, and they're probably still going to end up trading him somewhere or releasing him at some point. So I think the Falcons just fucked up. They had a deadline. They didn't make it.
Is Carson Wentz still available, or
he is? But the Browns have no interest, nor should they.
I would personally take Wentz over Russell Wilson. That's how much
I would not. That's crazy talk. Now that's delusion. Carson Wentz Get out of here. I'm better than Carson Wentz.
Get
You're
outta
better
here.
than Carson Wentz.
Why would you take Carson Wentz over Russell?
I don't know. I mean, I just Russell has not had a good year since Seattle. I
He
still
had
don't
16
fully.
touchdowns to 5 picks. I mean, yeah, he wasn't like great, but he was decent, serviceable, a bridge quarterback. Carson Wentz, my brother in Christ. Oh, be
Yeah,
still my heart.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know the full story on what went down in Seattle, like why Wilson wanted out. But ever since then, his career has just been in the toilet for the most part. I think you can still make Wentz a decent bridge quarterback. I think he's still relatively young for the most part, if my memory serves me right. But I would still take Flacco over both those guys and Rodgers as well if he did become available.
I would certainly take Flacco over Wentz, but
you're not picking. I mean, you're picking guys that just are not that serviceable. It's a slim pickings these days.
that's just wild though. Like everybody's tried the Carson Wentz train. The Commanders tried it. The Colts tried it. The Eagles tried it for years. Then now he's just a backup, and like God forbid if he ever had to get in there. Like the Chiefs didn't even want him to get in there if they had to. They were like, "What's Chad Henne up to? Where's he at?"
Yeah, I don't know if a room of
Is Colt McCoy cool? Is he doing all right? Maybe we can get Colt McCoy out of retirement if we have to throw Carson Wentz out here.
Jersey, what would you think of a room of Carson Wentz and Kenny Pickett?
Joe, you must have some kind of vendetta against Russell Wilson to say Carson Wentz.
That hurts, dog.
What the hell? He hasn't had any career in the NFL. I mean, Russell
he had
Wilson
1 year.
Had
one year
and won a Super Bowl, and
it was Nick Foles that brought home the gold.
Yeah, I mean, Carson. I mean, that dude's like, is he even in the league anymore?
He was a backup in Kansas City.
He said, "Is he in the league?"
I mean,
a backup, one of backup.
He's in the league. He's a backup. He's been a journeyman.
I'd rather Teddy Bridgewater come out from his
Go ahead,
podcast.
Joe.
Do I think any of these guys will succeed? No.
Well, that's a good question. Yeah.
I gotta know, what has Carson Wentz done to make you that confident in him?
I'm not saying I have confidence in him. What I'm saying is I believe he can do a better job than Russell Wilson in Cleveland. I don't think Russell Wilson.
Where'd you get that number?
Well, think about where he was last year. He was in Kansas City, sitting behind Mahomes. Might have learned a thing or two.
Getting his coffee.
His time in Philly, he was an MVP candidate up until
his rookie year.
And with Russell Wilson, he just has not been a good quarterback since Seattle.
He had 2,500 yards
terrible. I'm not trying to compare the two. I mean, like I said, they're both terrible quarterbacks, and it's slim pickings in free agency. I'm just saying I wouldn't mind exploring that option of Wentz to be a backup or possibly a bridge. I mean, we're in a bad situation.
No, yeah. When you're dumpster diving for QBs and free agency, there's no good situation. I'll agree with that point 110%. Yeah. None of these are great options. I agree. But there is the best of the bad options, which in my opinion would be Russell Wilson.
You got to remember, Russell Wilson had a horrible OC last year.
Oh, Arthur Smith.
Yeah. He's
horrible.
It's amazing.
Horrible OC and a middle of the road offensive line at best.
And George Pickens, and that's it.
And a running game that was okay.
I've griped about Stefanski, but I've also seen what Stefanski's offense did with Flacco, and now Flacco was a huge part of that. But I just think Russell Wilson in that offense, which really keeps, I think Stefanski
quarterbacks on their feet,
keep the defenses off balance.
Yeah.
And I think you'll get even more production than what you got out of Russell Wilson last year.
I'm just curious.
Carson Wentz has never done anything. I mean, Russell Wilson was starting for the Pittsburgh Steelers last year. Russell Wilson was riding the bench for a team. Or Carson Wentz was riding the bench. So, I mean, I'd rather take Russell Wilson all day long.
Now, all this being said,
and here's the other thing: Russell Wilson has the ability. He has the experience. He has a Super Bowl. I think he'll be able to lead the locker room and give you that leadership in there. I don't think Carson Wentz does that. You don't have the.
Well, here, Myles Garrett's not showing. If Carson Wentz came in to visit, Myles Garrett's not going to the facility on his day off.
No, hell no. He's probably taking a flight out.
Yeah, I don't think Russell Wilson's leading any locker room, to be honest with you.
That's a good one.
I don't see it.
Why not?
Well, I think he has the pedigree to do so.
Why don't you think he could, or why don't you think he can?
He's just so cheesy, man. Even you guys were saying, like, you really want him to say dog pound, let's ride. Myles Garrett's gonna be like, all right, I'm out.
No, it's dog country, let's pound. That's what
yeah. Yeah, he's
Pause.
man.
Pause.
I don't really care about that dumb shit. All I know is if I'm a player on the field,
Brownstown, let's clown.
I know this dude's won a shitload of games. This guy won a Super Bowl.
I think he earns more respect in the locker room than Jameis Winston.
You can't question his toughness. He's a tough dude. I mean, he drops his shoulder, he gets in there. So I think he gets the players' respect.
I mean, are you saying Wentz is not a tough dude?
No.
No, I'm not saying that. I say Wentz hasn't have the pedigree. No one's gonna listen to that guy. What's he done?
He's won a Super Bowl also, technically.
No, he wasn't the guy throwing the ball.
He was for most of that season.
Bernie won a Super Bowl too.
What year was that? Was that 2016?
It was I think it was more recent than Seattle's Super Bowl. My memory serves me.
Nobody
Chat GPT.
Nobody calls Carson Wentz a Super Bowl winning quarterback.
Hey, if you ask the people in Philly, Carson Wentz had a huge impact on that season. I mean, he won them 10 or 11 games, I think, before what? He went down? I mean, he was a legit MVP candidate that year. And I'm not saying that he's going to do anything. Don't be putting my name with Carson Wentz's name. That's not what I'm doing. I'm just saying it wouldn't be bad to explore that option because he was with Kansas City. He's still young. I think he's a few years younger than Russ. Russ might have a couple good years left, and you might be able to find something out of Wentz. If not, let him go.
So that was in 2018 is when Carson Wentz had his only good season. So we're about 7 years removed from that. The last NFC Championship game appearance by Seattle. So 2014, 2015, Seattle went back-to-back. And the Seattle Seahawks, led by Russell Wilson, have made it to at least the divisional round almost every year he was the starter after the 2014 and 2015 back-to-back Super Bowl appearances.
I going back to the Russ's leadership thing. I get the cheesiness.
No, he is cheesy. I am
totally get it.
Correct.
But I don't think he could be cheesier than Jameis Winston.
It's a different kind of cheese.
Cheesy.
I think if you can install Jameis in that locker room, I think Russ would probably be a breath of fresh air compared to Jameis Winston. Would have nothing against Jameis last year, but some of the stuff was just kind of like, okay, like at some point especially when you start losing games, that's why they had to pull him out. I mean, it was to the point with Stefanski. As soon as they named him as soon as it came out in the article after the season, as soon as they named Jameis the starter, he didn't want anything to do with him. He just handed over play call and said, "The hell with it. I don't want any parts of that." I just, if they can go through a season with him, I think they'll be just fine. With Russ,
You're not known by what you say. You're known by what you do.
Yeah.
So I don't really care what Russell says and how he, he's not your prototypical professional athlete. I don't know why he gets down for that. I mean, should he be out there acting like a totally different? I mean, to me, he just acts like a first class guy. You know what I mean? He's just out there. He's himself.
That's just who he is.
Yeah, and that's what makes him a leader. He don't beat the same drum as everybody else. He does his own thing. That's exactly what makes him a leader. And here the guy, like I said, he's got the experience. He's got the pedigree for younger guys to follow him. I mean, that's who they look to. That's who I would look to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I've had in at least in my profession, I've had one store, a very, very, very good GSM, very, very, very good GM. Another store, I had zero respect for these other guys professionally at the other store I was at. I mean, it's the same thing because they didn't have the same pedigree as these other guys. You know what I mean? So it's the same thing. So that's what these players look to.
Yeah, I think too. I totally. I think Russ could work here because if you can get out of that after coming out of that Jameis season, I think it could totally work. Shout out to our boy Chris. He texted me. He said can't come on, but a couple things. Now he did correct me. Thank you for correcting me, Chris. I thought they did. He said Diggs, Justin Jefferson, Thielen didn't play together. Just Jefferson came after. I'm just thinking of the three in Minnesota because I think of Travis Hunter as a Justin Jefferson prototype, and then Diggs and Thielen or to me could be kind of like if we had Judy Ayuk. Is that fair, Mike? You're muted.
Yeah. No.
So you get the point of what I was saying.
Yeah, absolutely. We knew
he did bring up a good question. I said if Russ would pick Browns over Giants, then what is he waiting for? I think he's waiting for the Giants to see if they get Rodgers or not. I don't think the Browns have offered him yet. I don't think the Giants have offered him yet either. I think the Browns.
It was a get-to-know-you meeting.
Yeah, it was reported today they haven't offered him, and the Giants haven't offered him yet either because they're waiting on with Rodgers. So I think that's why. I don't think it's really he doesn't have any decision to make yet. But I think I think I still think he would pick the Browns first over the Giants, excuse me. I would think, unless he just wants to be in New York. But I don't know.
You just have to draft a Marion Hampton at some point, and I'll be happy. I don't care what else happens. Just give me Marion Hampton in orange and brown. I'll buy the jersey tomorrow.
Jelly, the follow-up, though, for you, brother, on the next one. So you said you would take Carson Wentz. With Carson Wentz on your roster, what would you still do the number 2 overall pick? Would you still take a Shedeur Sanders if available? Or because it sounds like Cam Ward's going number 1 no matter what. So unless we try to get him, but I don't think we're going to do that. It sounds like we're staying put at 2. So what would you do at number 2?
Well, I would prefer taking Flacco, but even if we take Wentz or Flacco, I don't want them to take Shedeur. I prefer them to trade down and acquire more picks, but I don't think they're going to do that. I think they will take Shedeur. I just think that's inevitable at this point. And Myles, like you said, you referred to Myles Garrett about kind of having an idea of what Andrew Berry and them are going to do. And they were, if my memory serves me right, I think Myles was pretty confident that they might be able to get this guy. It seems like that would point to Shedeur just because they know he'll be available at 2, assuming the Titans take Cam Ward. So I think they will take Shedeur. Do I want them to? No. I prefer them to trade down.
Yeah, I saw those comments. I don't know. I think he's kind of hinting more towards they can get somebody. I think they know Shedeur's going to be there too. I think it's more of can we get the guy in free agency? I think it's going to be Russ, and I think that's why he showed up to that meeting. I think it was more of a sign, a signal, and he even spoke about the beating. And so, yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. So if you, but you would trade down. Well, how far would you trade down? Where you still feel comfortable getting a good first round pick?
Yeah, I don't. Whoever's offering the most. I mean, what? There's like 3-4 teams that need a quarterback below us, right? So
Would you go
just let
down to
them.
the 7 with the Jets?
Sure. Yeah. If they're offering more than the rest, I would. I mean, they should have a bidding war for the second overall pick. Whoever wants Shedeur should take him.
Mike,
I
would
just don't
you?
know if there's going to be. I don't know if there'd be teams that are willing to go to like a bidding war for that. Is he that good?
Well,
He's
by
good.
some of the reports, he might not even be in the first round on some boards.
If he's not, if he starts to drop, if I'm the Browns, I'm trading back up for Shedeur. If that's the route they go, especially if you could get him in the 20s, because you can trade pick 33 and then some later assets from another year and do
yeah,
it.
that's the absolutely, because then you pair him back with Travis Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean, that would be, unbelievable if that happened. But I mean, I don't like any of these quarterbacks at the top of the draft. I don't like any of them. I don't think any of them are worthy of a 1 and 2. It's just there's teams
Quarterback inflation.
Yeah, I don't think they're.
Yeah, that's why I think Travis Hunter, no matter what, is still above and shoulders above all these other guys. And I think you could still take a Will Howard later on or whatever, and maybe just go from there. That's what I would do. But we're going to get to this next thing here. If you guys saw this week, this is pretty interesting. So I'm going to break this down real quick, and I'll get back to you guys. Myles Garrett, after he signed his contract, he was in some headlines. Jason Lloyd of The Athletic. Jason Lloyd's been around a long time. Put out an article. And in the article, I'm not going to read the whole thing, obviously, but it was quoted here. Quote, "It's well known within the Browns that Garrett is frequently late to the facility. He has skipped mandatory team activities on multiple occasions." And so, again, this is from Jason Lloyd, and it said it is well known within the building that Myles is frequently late to the facility, and he skipped mandatory team activities on multiple occasions. And so, in Jason Lloyd's article, till he went along, the headline of it was, talking about how Jimmy Haslam, gets his way by just spending money. And so, I can't remember the article itself. Mike, can you correct me real quick? Wasn't the article kind of alluding to that the contract wasn't a good one for the Browns?
Yeah, essentially. Jason Lloyd was just being like, it just seemed like super bitter. Like it seemed like a personal attack against Myles.
All right. Mike took it there. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I not out your opinion. But I think personally, let me get this off the screen. Oh, so you got okay. Now you guys can see it. Was that not up there the first time, Mike?
No, it was. It was just smaller.
Okay, well there it is for you guys. So there it is. Quote: "It's well known within the Browns organization that Garrett is frequently late to the facility. He has skipped mandatory team activities on multiple occasions." That is via Jason Lloyd of The Athletic. And so this week, Myles Garrett was asked by Jason Lloyd a question at his press conference for his new contract. And here's what Myles had to say.
Once I was really aligned with what we have going on, that's when I was ready to position.
You at all their intentions with the second pick, and did that impact your decision at all?
Next question.
Looked into the windows of his soul.
He said next question. Jason Lloyd got next questioned. Jason Lloyd got right to the studio at the Altitude Sports Show and responded to it and just kind of laughed it off and said, it is what it is. I think there's two things here. I'm curious why this was put out. Obviously, Jason got this from somebody in the organization. Unless he had it sitting there for a while, I don't know why he'd put it out now, unless you had to go ahead from somebody.
Right.
I think somebody gave him that information. I've always said that I thought Myles, with some of the influence he has in this front office, people in the front office are part of Clutch Sports, by the way. Tyler Hamlin, the director of football operations. His wife is a big executive for Clutch Sports. There's people in clutch in the organization. I think this was all a power thing. I think seeing Myles showing up at the Russell Wilson meeting as well, I think he's kind of showing that power. He didn't do that in the past with other guys they brought in on visits. Myles never showed up to the facility. Am I wrong, Mike? Does Mike? Have we ever seen Myles Garrett show up to the facility on a free agency meeting?
No.
No, we haven't. And so I think Myles is flexing that power he got now. I think it was a power thing. It wasn't about the money. Myles knew he was going to get the money from the Browns no matter what, because the Browns are stupid not to pay him. So he was going to get that money. And so maybe he got a little more guarantee out of it. I don't know. But I think it had to do more with the power struggle. And I think there's certain people in that building who are pissed right now because they may have gotten their roles lessened. And maybe they're the ones that put this out there. I guess it's well known. I mean, anybody came out and shot it down. I haven't seen that. So maybe I'm not saying it's not true or not, but I do think it's put out there at the timing of it is for a reason. I think both things can be true. Just because it's right doesn't mean it's not put out now intentionally. So, man, I'm curious to see what some of his teammates if people start saying things about it. Have you heard anything, Mike? Has anybody deflected this or
Nobody's even quoted it. Nobody outside of Myles just next questioning him. You would have thought the article was never written. Like
Yeah.
that's they're just letting it go by the wayside.
Yeah, and so I'll start with you, Mike. Is this a big deal? No deal? Do you believe it? I mean, what do you think of all this?
I mean, as far as like mini camp, this, that, and the other, like Myles was always at like voluntary mini camp, like when he didn't need to be, because he is like, if there's anybody on the team, or there are two players on the team, well, I'll say three, but three players on the team that didn't have to go to those voluntary workouts or mini camps or anything like that. That's Myles Garrett, Joel Bitonio, Nick Chubb. And he still made some of them when he didn't need to. And he would always be involved in talking to the rookies. Like rookies always said how Myles was one of the first people to reach out to him. So, I mean, sure, maybe he's missed some at times, but I would definitely not say that Myles isn't like a locker room leader. And I would definitely wouldn't say Myles is like this, laissez-faire kind of guy who just kind of floats in and out of meetings. Like I've heard it said from multiple sources that Myles isn't like the rah-rah kind of leader, and he's trying to get better at that. But like, if that's just not his personality, that's not his personality. He leads by how he plays. He said that himself. Like he was injured all of last year and he still finished the season and had a hell of a season, So I don't know if I necessarily believe it. Maybe there's a touch of truth, but like all signs point to Myles has always been like team first kind of guy from every other outlet. So I don't know. I think it's weird. I think it's all really weird that when it came out and why it came out.
Yeah, Michael David Smith of Pro Football Talk put out an article the other day, Pro Football Talk on NBC, and he said it is in fact well known within the Browns facility. It has been kept surprisingly quiet outside the Browns facility. So it does seem like it is true based on two reports. But he also says it's also worth wondering why that is coming out right now after Garrett just signed a record contract that guarantees him $123.5 million and makes him the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. And so that's my whole thing with this. What is the point of this now? Is there people in the organization that are pissed at Myles and maybe Myles has a little more leverage than they do now?
Maybe.
Or is this something between, I don't want to put Jason Lloyd on the spot. I have respect for Jason Lloyd, but it's just, I mean, you have to ask yourself, we're just going to be, I mean, who the hell will it be? No, but I mean, is there something going on here with Clutch Sports and some people in the media? Maybe I've seen some stuff in the past about that. Just saying. So I'm curious, Jersey, what do you think about this?
Well, I think it's true just by his reaction in that press conference, because if it wasn't true, I don't think he just would have went next question. But, Joe, you said this recently. What am I all about? What matters to me?
You asking me or?
Yeah.
I don't remember. What did I say?
So
Results.
results.
Oh yeah.
So that's all that matters to me. And when you're getting that kind of production, he's obviously doing a lot of other things that the guys that are on time to facility aren't doing. So and it's just like, here, I got a 20-car guy or a 30-car guy. I don't give a shit when they get there. I got a 5-car guy, 10-car guy. They better have their ass there early. You know what I mean? It's the same thing. You're pulling down, 15, 20 sacks a year. You're doing what that guy does. You're showing up on game day. You know what I mean? And you must be working hard through practice for your games to be like that. So I really don't care. Would I prefer him to never miss? Yeah, but you got to manage different people differently. And so here, in the past couple months, I heard a lot of his teammates say, "Well, if Myles is going to be here, I don't want to be here." So it sounds like they're okay with it. I mean, I think, you could have that one guy that's just he's envious, he's just pissed off that this guy just got that kind of money, so they just start to nitpick. But hey, he got that kind of money for a reason. He didn't get $40 million a year because he gets 5 sacks a year.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if it's a player that leaked that shit out, well, here, get your ass in gear and start putting out the results he puts out. Then you won't have to complain because you'll be getting paid. But I don't think it matters. I don't really care. I think it's like that in any industry. Here, I mean, does anybody tell LeBron James what to do? He just takes nights off. He just takes nights off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He just takes a night off when he wants to and goes. I mean, I've literally watched the Lakers playing basketball and LeBron's somewhere else at some event.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just life. So when you're the most productive and you're the best at what you do, those are the perks that come along with it.
Joey, your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know enough about this story, to be honest. I didn't hear about it till you brought it up just now. So I don't know who to believe on it. I do think Cleveland reporters talk too much and will just throw stories out there. But at the same time, maybe Myles is late to things. Maybe he is. He's never been a vocal leader. That's one thing the Browns locker room lacks is vocal leaders. Most of our captains are quiet guys like Chubb and Denzel Ward. We don't really have that in the locker room, so I just think, maybe Myles would show up late here and there. But as Jersey was saying, he what matters is what he's on the field. Would I like him to show up early? Yeah, absolutely. But I don't even know if it's true, so I probably don't have too much to say on this.
I got some things I want to add to this. Number one, like the article I put up earlier said, what's the reason of putting this out now? And I got a couple thoughts on this. If people in the organization are putting this out now, it's really a reflection of you as an organization. You're the ones that drafted this guy. You're the ones that's enabled this guy. You're the ones that have allowed him to show up to the facility late. Guys don't show up to the facility late in Pittsburgh. Guys don't show up to the facility late in Kansas City. Guys don't show up to the facility late in LA. Guys don't show up to the facility late when Bill Belichick was in New England. There are certain places where shit like this doesn't go on. So I don't know how you get mad at a guy when you just paid him $200 or not $200 something, I'm thinking of Deshaun's contract. When you just paid him this ass load of money contract, and now you want to come out and bitch about him, and it's been well known and kept a secret. Well, it must not have been that big of a deal, because usually if it's a big deal, it leaks out at some point before all this. So number one, it's a reflection of you as an organization. You're the ones that have had piss poor leadership. You're the ones that have piss poor standards. You're the ones that have piss poor accountability, development, and keeping guys in check. Joe and Mike, would anybody show up late like that consistently at my dad's dealership as a boss, as him as a GSM? Mike?
Trick question. Pass.
Would anybody show up like it? But basically, would anybody do that consistently at his dealership?
Probably not. No.
And why is that?
You'd be fired.
Why is that, Mike? Because he has a what?
Standard.
There you go. And so in Jersey, would you allow that to keep going on?
No,
No,
absolutely not.
you wouldn't defend it either. And so I don't understand why you put this out. You're the ones that did that. But again, of course they have it because they have this mindset in Berea, where they don't, the guys you drafted this guy, you developed him, you adapted him in your organization as the face of your franchise. You just gave him all this money. And so maybe part of the article, what he wrote is right, that Jimmy Haslam tries to buy things, tries to spend money, which is okay. That's his job as an owner, is to spend money. But there has been this acquiring mindset in Berea. And what I mean by that is it's more about let's try to buy wins. Let's try to buy success. Let's try to buy players instead of actually drafting and developing what you have to do. Let's not develop. Let's not cultivate a culture. Let's not develop guys. Let's not, set a standard. But again, you can't bitch about it one way when you act another way. You have this acquiring mindset as an organization, this analytical mindset, the Geek Squad, as I like to call them, Mr. San Diego and everybody on that down that's been running this organization especially for the last 5 years. So I don't know how you can bitch about this guy now when you guys have operated a certain way in your philosophy, and also you're the ones that drafted this guy. You're the mother effers that have had him in your organization his whole career. So this is stupid. This article was that point in the article, I don't get any of that. It just seems like people are petty, upset, but really they should be upset at themselves. If you're going to sit around and bitch about this with Myles, these are the same people, the same type of people in the media, people that they think, well, we just draft a guy and throw him out there. Right? Let's just draft a player and throw him out there and see if he's good. And if he's not good, then he's just not good. Not, hey, maybe we're not set up to as an organization to draft a guy and develop him and help him succeed. Maybe that's why you went through so many effing quarterbacks since 1999, because you don't actually know how to draft, develop, and help guys succeed. Maybe it's not all about them. Maybe it's more about you. You need to start looking in the mirror. So yeah, that was straight bullshit. Param what's up, people? What's up, Param? Teflon Don's in the house. Anyone that defends Andrew Berry doesn't know football. He's had enough time to show us he's incompetent. True fans have zero trust in him drafting since he's drafted so many bums. Cheeks. Raul says 3-14 is a hell of a season. He said Myles Garrett is a juicy smoothie of the NFL. Jersey, your response to my rant, or you got anything you want to add to that? As someone who manages and
well, here you got to have accountability. But again, you got to manage different people differently. I mean, if I got a guy that gets there hour early, half hour early, but he gives 80% practice, I don't know. I think I'd probably rather have the guy that might get there 5-10 minutes late, but he gives you 115%. The motor never stops. You know what I mean? And if his results are there on game day, it's all of can you still control the locker room or the workplace? As long as you have a culture where everyone understands that hard work comes first, results come first, you get rewarded for that, and it's consistent, it'll work. You know what I mean? If the front office is putting that out to Jason Lloyd, shame on them, and kind of shame on Jason Lloyd for even putting it out. I mean, it's what are you accomplishing? You know what I mean? Other than you're a mouthpiece for someone, and you got to do as you're told so you can get in there and get in and see if access. You know what I mean? So there's no good reason to put that out. It's just stupid. Other than you need access. But so if the front office does that, they should never do that, by the way, because if that's how they manage, That should stay in house. They shouldn't put that out. So they need to figure out who's putting that out and get them out of that building. So, and if it's a player, here he must be a bum because, if he's not getting paid because he's not producing, so he's pointing a finger at somebody else. But I don't know. I don't have an issue with it.
Mm.
But here, if you're doing it though, you better have strong leaders. You know what I mean? You better have people that are willing to get in the ass of the people that don't produce, and be able to keep it all together. So,
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird because you don't have that kind of production without extreme hard work. It's impossible.
that's what I'm saying. So I don't really care what time he gets there. I could care less.
Yeah,
What-
I don't.
Hey,
I mean, he might be getting there late, but man, that time he's there, he's probably busting ass.
yeah, but you know what? Maybe he just Myles Garrett strikes me as somebody that the guy gets up and he meditates and he probably sits
Reads.
for an hour, doesn't do anything. He's got his whole morning ritual before he goes in. And obviously it's working for him. So
Right.
how can anybody complain about what Myles Garrett's doing? It's all now if his results weren't there, that's a different story. But sometimes there's trade-offs you got to go with. And he's the best at what he does. So how can you even complain? If anything,
Yeah, I'm curious. Go ahead.
If anything, you want every guy to be late for practice every once in a while and go 115 miles per hour in practice and then produce on the field on game day. I mean, everybody needs to model what he's doing then.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of great players in history that, like Randy Moss, never stretched with his team on game day. It's just something he didn't do. He just didn't stretch. But you got to tell Randy Moss not what to do at game day. It worked pretty well for him. I'm curious what's defined as late in that building, because
Right.
does he walk into the meetings? That's the fancy. He's getting ready to go. All right, guys, because you have your team meeting every morning. I don't think he's missing team meetings, because it should said in the if that's the case, it should have said in the article he's missing team meetings. It didn't say that. So I'm curious what late really is. It sounds like somebody to me who might be a little bitter at Myles, and maybe people who want him to be something that they want him to be who they want him to be, because we gave you this money, so we want you to be more vocal in the locker room, or maybe act out. It doesn't make any sense. That's why it sounds stupid to begin with. So,
and you know what this all goes back to in my mind? What everybody needs to go back to, the merit system. Everything needs to be worked off the merit system. If you work harder and you produce more, you get treated differently. You get more. You know what I mean? I mean that again. There's more than just the compensation. It's like I said a week or two ago. The dude knew he was getting paid no matter what. He's getting his money no matter where he's at. This was a negotiation about power and influence and say so and other things. You know what I mean? Maybe he wants to be treated differently. Hey, maybe he's saying, here, dude, look, this is what I'm giving you. I want this. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
We got a little bit of breaking news, gentlemen.
go ahead.
The Bengals have agreed to a 4-year, $161 million extension with Jamar Chase, making him the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history, and agreed to a 4-year, $115 million extension with wide receiver T. Higgins. There goes their salary cap.
And Joe Burrow. If they don't win. When his contract's up. But yeah, that Gator machine is definitely padlocked right as we speak. I mean, they're
not
Gator
gonna
machine
have
is
any TVs left.
No TVs left. You're not allowed to use the water past 5 minutes. Get out of the shower.
The guys
turn it
were going to
off.
have to sit on the floor in team meetings.
Yeah, I mean, the practice facility already looks shitty. Yes, Param John said, wow, their defense is about to be shit. Yeah, they just
Trey
paid for
Hendrickson is Audi 5000.
Yeah, they just paid for the same results. I could see keeping Jamar Chase, but I don't. $150 million. How much money is that combined, Mike, for two receivers?
$276 million over 4 years.
It's almost $300 million for 2 receivers.
Yeah, over
And you're
4
paying-
years. So how much a year?
And you're paying Joe Burrow how much?
I mean, he's making 40, 45, something like that, 50, close to 50. So let's see, 276 milli. We'll just do 276. Make it easy. $69 million a year for 2 wide receivers. Almost $70 million a year for 2 wide receivers.
And the O-line and running back situation's not. Oh man, thank you,
Yikes.
but yeah, thank you.
Idiots.
You can't feel a team paying that much. But anyways, what do you think about that, Joey? Any initial reaction?
Yeah, I mean, good for Higgins and Chase though, because they definitely were underpaid the last couple of years. But I mean, Joe Burrow is going to be out of the league in 4 or 5 years. Like he's just going to have so many injuries. I mean, they still have no O-line, they have no defense. I mean,
No running game.
they have to be the worst team in the AFC North. I know the Browns don't have a quarterback, but man, they have nothing other than Joe Burrow and a couple good receivers. It's crazy. I mean, I think I said before, I mean, Burrow is going to be Andrew Luck 2.0. Great quarterback, short career because of injuries. He's going to get injured again because they just have not built this team in the trenches, and it's going to hurt him.
Yeah. He said $40 million to a receiver. Well, that is the market nowadays. He said Chase is great, but man, that's a lot of money,
That is a lot of money.
especially at that market. Jeez. I'm surprised they even paid that. I mean, that like I said, they are definitely padlocking those machines.
Mike Brown
They
had
don't,
to
they're not
take out
gonna
a
have.
second mortgage.
Yeah, they no more Team Chef, nothing. You get granola bars and a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. That's what you get, asshole. Get on the road.
Now they're going to get them
Um,
Hungry Man TV dinners, brother.
Yeah,
They've been talking about a new stadium.
Red Baron
too, I
pizzas.
think. There goes
Yeah.
that.
What's that, Joey?
I think they were talking about a new stadium also. I mean, there goes that. I mean,
Yeah, that's down
Jeez.
the tubes. Because that new stadium is about the Clementon High School stadium. I mean,
man.
about all they can afford, you know. Am I lying? I mean, it's historically been the cheapest organization in all sports, if I'm not mistaken, right? Or one of
Right.
them.
Yeah, they make the
So-
Browns look good in some aspects. Pretty
Yeah.
crazy.
I got somebody on Twitch. Shout out to Remember White birthday. Much love to you. Thanks for tuning in. We got Tori in the house. Tori also put. Let me go to your other comment. He said, "Bring back Joe Flacco." So he wants to
Yeah,
bring back Flacco.
Flacco fever.
He said, "We need to draft Abdul Carter to pair him with Myles Garrett. We will have the best defensive end in the league."
I wouldn't mind that idea.
Let's see.
I'm fine with either way.
Brown will sell the team just to gain his money back. Watch. So he thinks Brown's
That
going to
would be
sell
the
team.
best thing to happen to the Cincinnati Bengals, but it would be tragic.
Yeah, he said, JJ Dill, shout out to JJ, a new viewer. He said, fellas, cheer up. This pro sports, big personalities, big bank, and excitement.
Here.
They pay
We're
people.
Browns fans,
put
my
butts in the
man.
seats.
I wanted them gone. I wanted the Bengals to be a parking lot, dog. I don't want this team to be any sort of competitive. I wanted T. Higgins in like Guantanamo Bay, and I wanted Jamar Chase in space. There's nothing wrong with that.
Even with them both, though, I don't think they're
Nah, I mean, they're a 9-win team. You know,
at best.
better than 3. To be fair, better than 3, but
No, I agree.
What'd they finish with last year?
not.
9
They were
wins?
9-8.
I mean, they got to be worse this year. They lost
Maybe.
guys on the defensive end, right? And I mean, I don't see them winning 7-8 games.
It really depends what they do in the draft. I mean, to the Bengals, like they ain't going offense in the first round. That's for damn sure. They can't. I mean, Myles Murphy hasn't looked good so yet. Maybe he'll develop, but like for them, they got hope and pray that like James Pierce Jr.'s there or fucking Mike Green or somebody like that, and just pray to God that he can be like generational.
Oh man.
Zach Taylor's probably gone.
I think he's mid anyways, but Jason Lloyd hates writing pods articles about Cleveland. He doesn't like the sports teams at all. LeBron hates him as well. LOL. Why do the Browns let people like Jason Lloyd in the building? He just creates a toxic environment.
Those press passes, man, they're hard to cancel when they get them.
I don't think Jason creates a toxic environment. I think the Browns do that themselves. But I mean, I know people have an opinion on Jason Lloyd. I think in this scenario, I mean, should he have put it out? I don't know. I mean, he was given information, he put it out, so that is his job. But I think it's more about who and why put it out is what I'm
right.
53-71 record since being drafted. I'm not sure he's talking about.
I
think he's about. I can't remember either. He said this team will continue to frustrate me, and I will not now expect failure. Yeah, it's been the case for a while now. Rose in the house. Rose said sign Johnny Football to compete to complete this clown show.
I'm out.
Bring back Johnny, he says.
Could have been great.
What do you guys think about Trevor Lawrence?
I'm a certified Trevor Lawrence hater.
Mike is the biggest Trevor Lawrence hater I've seen on the internet.
Certified hater, dude. I think he's bad.
He said I wouldn't mind him. He said I wouldn't mind him at quarterback. Feels like he hasn't hit his stride yet. Go ahead, Jersey.
I've been a Trevor Lawrence fan since college. I mean, I'd love to have Trevor Lawrence here.
The only thing I love about him is his haircut.
Yeah, I mean, that dude can throw the ball.
I think Trevor Lawrence
hasn't been in a good spot. And out here, I guess the Browns ain't saying much either, but I'd love to give him an opportunity here.
Go ahead, Joey.
I was going to say, I think Trevor Lawrence is better than anything in free agency.
I mean, that's true.
I think he's still been number one pick in this draft, too.
Well, I mean, as a collegiate prospect, he was fantastic.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But how many head coaches is this for him now? 4?
2.
No, he's had more than that.
No, I think this is his third. He had Urban Meyer.
And then Doug Peterson.
And then
Urban Meyer, Doug Peterson.
Oh,
and homeboy last year.
Well, if he's had 2, this will be going into 3 with Liam Cohen.
Yeah, so he's on his third head coach. In how many years? 4 years?
He just signed a second contract.
He got drafted in 2021. He got drafted in 2021.
Oh, they just signed him early. So this is his 5th year.
So 3 coaches in 4 years. That's not a winning recipe. In the 1 year, he had some stability. He took him to the playoffs. I think Trevor's going to be fine. I think Trevor is just a young player. Young players have to have stability. And they got to be able to thrive and have, be able to build confidence and stack years. He hasn't been able to do that. I still think the talent is still there. I think he'll be fine. I think hopefully Liam Cohen can give him some stability if he can bring yeah, I don't know. I mean, that stuff was a little weird, but we'll see how that goes with him. But I still think he's gonna be a great player. He's got all the talent and he's shown it at times. I just think there hasn't been any stability in that organization, and I don't know how you expect this guy to develop, especially the pressure of being a number 1 overall pick. I don't get it.
I don't know what we could give Jacksonville either that would make him say, hey, we'll give you Trevor Lawrence. I mean, would you give the 2nd overall pick for Trevor Lawrence? I don't know if they would do that.
They wouldn't.
Probably not right now. They would, because I don't think you could sell that.
They would need to, it would have to be a complete rebuild again. Like Liam Cohen couldn't have worked out. They'd have to fire the GM again. It was just
take it
down to the tax again.
Yeah. Amber's back. Shout out to Amber. They can sign a good enough QB and draft Carter or Travis. Draft Dart later. I don't think Jack Start's going to be there later, though. I think Jack Start's going to go probably mid-first round, maybe early 20s.
Zach Wilson 2.0, baby.
He's shooting up draft boards. I know, Jersey, you like Jackson Dart. If he was there later on, would you If he's there at 33, you taking him?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'd take Will Howard over Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart is I'm out. I'm so out on him.
Well, I take any of them. I mean, I don't think any of them are head and shoulders above the other one. I mean, I just think we got a group of quarterbacks. You know what I mean? If Jackson Dart, Will Howard.
I like Will Howard a lot.
I mean,
actually.
anybody at 30. If I'm the Browns, if I take Travis Hunter at 2, I take one of these quarterbacks at 33.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not afraid to Jackson Dart, so
they can move up for Dart. I like Quinn or Howard. Yeah, I mean, could they move
like
up to
Quinn
33 to
Ewers.
get Dart? I think they could. What's that?
I said I like Quinn Ewers.
He's talented. I just don't
he-
think he's going
he
to have.
throws the
I don't
ball
think at
better
the
than anybody
NFL
in the
level,
draft.
though. I don't know.
I don't know.
I
but
like-
that's what I'm saying. It's like that with all of them. I mean,
He said
I don't think
Howard
any
is
of
the
them are
next
for sure.
Krenzel. He said Howard is the next Krenzel. Perrin John said, I hope to God Kenny Pickett is not starting week 1. Yeah, I don't think Kenny Pickett will be starting at all. Do you, Mike?
No.
He's QB3. That's what he was brought in for, QB3.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think the Jaguars are going to trade Trevor Lawrence. Going back to that, and then as far as quarterback goes in the draft with Jackson Dart, I think you could possibly trade up to get him. He may fall to 33. You never know. I mean, I don't think he will. I think he's going to be in the first round. It sounds like, but I think Cam Ward is probably above a lot of these guys, all these guys in the draft, but
he started to separate himself.
He has, but I think at the end of the day, like Jersey said, look at it as a group. I think it always comes down to this, but it's going to be more about fit more than anything. Where do these guys end up?
Right.
Those are the guys who are going to have
wholeheartedly.
Those are the guys who are going to succeed if they end up in the right situations.
Right,
He said,
but
what option do you have as Bailey Zappi? Go ahead, Jersey.
But there'll be at least one of these quarterbacks will end up being great. This is how it always works out. You got a class of quarterbacks. They're just mediocre. And there's always the one that just comes out and ends up being a great quarterback. Has a great career.
Yeah. He said Quinn was QB1 at the beginning of last year. That's why I lean him a little bit. Yeah, he did start off in the early session when he beat Michigan this year. He was high on a lot of boards. I think as the season went on, he just kind of really declined a little bit in some of his play. And I think the size a little bit. He's a little. I mean, he's taller, but he's a little smaller. If that makes sense. Like he's not the biggest guy. And then I think just the play at time wasn't consistent. But the talent-wise, he's got the talent. Kid's always had a nice arm. I don't think he's a great arm, but it's good enough. But I think he probably had to go somewhere, maybe develop for a little bit. He went to Kansas City. I was thinking about Bailey Zappi, but maybe I'm not sure he's talking about. But Mike, anything else for you get out of here, bud?
No, brother. Go Browns. Like, subscribe, and share for all of you who are watching. Thank you so much for watching as always. But yeah, if you haven't subscribed to us yet, we do these every Sunday, and then I have my own show, and Joseph has his own show as well.
Oh yeah, here, don't forget the professional fan though.
It's a thing of beauty. It really is.
It might be the best one I've ever made. It really might be.
But yes, everybody like, subscribe, share, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.
Stay professional.
Stay professional.
Bye, Mike. Well, fellas, appreciate you guys for staying up here this long. We got a couple more. Let's see here. We'll end with this. Hope we wake up to some good news. Yeah, I hope so too. Hopefully, just with a quarterback. I think we got to get one of these guys in the market. You need a veteran quarterback in here that you can at least start. That's starter. caliber. I don't think Kenny Pickett's that. So I think you need to get one more starter caliber vet in here and still look to the draft to get somebody. He said, I missed the days of RG3 flea flicker from the 2. Yeah, that was a wild play back in the Hugh Jackson era. You missed those days, Joey?
Nope.
No. No. But well, gentlemen, great show as always. You guys want to tell me why they need to like, subscribe, and share?
Because it's good stuff. It's the best. It's the best thing going today. It's just regular dudes. Like I say every week, it's just regular guys just getting on here and just giving their opinion, and everyone's free to give their opinion. Josh does a great job moderating. No matter who it is. So he's fair. And you get a lot of people that are not, but he gives everybody equal time and puts a lot of time and effort into this, and it's growing. And eventually it's going to take off. So just like, subscribe, share it, and we're not. Anything's better than these guys, these pundits that come out and these reporters that are just mouthpieces for these teams because they're controlled, and you get the same thing. You're hearing the same thing from all of them. At least up here, you don't hear that. So like, subscribe, share. Everybody have a great week. Have a safe day tomorrow. If you're going out for St. Patty's Day, you're gonna just be safe. Get the DD, and everybody have a great week.
Rose said Jersey needs a shave. You got to respond to Rose.
It's getting there. Once it gets a little bit longer, I shave, but I don't take it to the skin though.
Yeah,
I used to, but
yeah.
like my boss.
Huh?
I said he sounds like my boss. Every time I see my boss, my owner, he always says, he always points this out. What, you got that hair in your face? You can't stand it.
Amber said they waiting for Cousins. I think they were, but not anymore. I don't think he's not gonna be out of Atlanta anytime soon. They don't seem to want Russ. I don't know. I think he might be number 1 on their board right now. To be honest with you, he might be. I think we got to see what happens to Aaron Rodgers first. That's what everybody's waiting on. Once that happens, and I think the Browns and the Giants will make their offer for Russ. I think the Browns are just kind of staying patient. They're just getting to know him a little bit, like the report said from Mary Kay. So, Joe, you got anything else you want to add, brother?
Oh man, some good Browns therapy. The Browns always disappoint us, so it's good to talk it out, share it out on your great show, and always good content here.
Well, like, subscribe, share all the good stuff, and we'll see you guys next one. Let's salute out of here, gentlemen.
See you tomorrow, Bob.
We're out of here.
See ya.
Yeah.